Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Tom Miller. I'm out here on my morning ride. I'm here at Mill Burney Dam here, right along the Greenway in Raleigh. It's a great, beautiful spot. You know, when I used to do my marathon training and still when I ride my bike, I like to stop and just, enjoy and just take a couple minutes to myself, right? And I was, sitting here reading. It's got this great historical map here about, Mill Burney. It's like, oh, well, the reason for the dam was to solve a problem, right? They needed to use, the dam to, generate power and do, lots of other things to move things, down the Neuse River, because the Neuse actually connects down to Cape Fear and actually goes out the ocean. This is a really, really important part of our area, right? So there's, so many reasons why, dams are built. And then they realized, 250 years later that, well, not all the wildlife, not all the fish are able to get down the river like they need to, and we're having a population problem. So that was one of the reasons why they knocked down the dam just a little while ago. And it just made me got to think about, right, somebody identified a problem and came up with a solution to solve the problem. And that's what leaders do, right? A leader's job is to identify problems and solve the problem as close to the problem as possible, right? But what tends to happen in our busy world, especially as school leaders, is that we just put a Band-Aid on the problem, right? We just put a Band-Aid on the symptom of the problem. All those things that are happening in your organization, right? The maybe lack of available teachers, teacher turnover, lack of students, lack of funding, right? Culture issues, climate issues. Like, these are all symptoms of bigger problems. And as your organizational leader, you need to spend the majority of your day leading adults how to identify problems, solve problems, and be, better at leading other adults. Not constantly putting out the fires like a fireman. And so there's three key questions, right? So let's say that the fire is still kind of smoldering, right? And we're done with it. You take 10 minutes with your team. Hey, what went wrong? Why do we think it went wrong? How do we miss it, right? What's, moving forward, what are we going to do, right? And we got to make sure we end that meeting with commitments. So who's responsible for what here? And then say, okay, all right, tomorrow you set up a strategy meeting. We're going to dive deeper into this problem because we need to identify the root cause of this problem. I don't want to hear about, these are all symptoms of the problems, everybody. Like, let's really dive in. Why are we having this larger organizational problem, right? Could be poor communication, could be poor reputation in the community, could be just poor, reputation in the field, right? There's some things you can control and there's some things you can't. You have to get to the root of what you can control. And the people in that meeting need to be the people as close to the problem as possible. They can't just always be your top two or three, on your team. You got to get close. Like, what was the root cause, right? That's why everybody's brainstorming and, thinking. So you get in that meeting, right? And you as the leader, you start asking questions, and you don't direct anybody and you don't tell anybody. You just listen. This is when you're active listening, okay? Good body presence. Remember, body language is 55% of communication. Great tone. Tone is 38%. So 93% of what you communicate has nothing to do with the words you're saying, right? So hold your image here. Be listening, asking questions. Get really, really curious. And I guarantee you're going to find that your team is so smart and they have great ideas and great awareness. And you're going to help them, coach them to solve the problem. This is going to be a critical part in your leadership this year. At times in leadership, we need to bring people along, right? Nothing worthwhile was ever achieved alone. Bring those people into the room around the round table and start problem solving, not symptom fixing. That's what I want. So I'll drop those questions in these comments here and add another resource for you so you have it. But that's what I want you to do. So every time an issue occurs, what went wrong? When did it go wrong? What are we going to do, with the short term? And then set up a strategy meeting. Go deep and find the root cause of that problem. Bring the people in the room as close to the problem as possible. And do not land that plane until you have an identified solution to that problem, right? Then put that systems in place, that strategy and systems in place, train on it, right? And keep it going and moving forward. When you do that, I guarantee you will have a much more empowered school year. I'm Dr. Tom Miller, raising your awareness. Thank you.